Hello and welcome to Puno, a city at an altitude of 3,800 meters that literally takes away your breath. It is located in the southeast of Peru and it is right in front of the Lake Titicaca that you can see here in the background. In today's video I am going to take you through the city of Puno and most importantly I will take you on the Lake Titicaca and show you the famous Uros Islands, which are floating islands on the Lake Titicaca. In ancient times Puno was actually known as the land of the Tiahuanaco. These were people of pre-Incan times. Later on Puno became part of the Inca Imperium and you can also see an Inca here behind me, which symbolizes the power of the Inca Imperium here in Puno. Nowadays Puno is a very popular place to visit because people want to get to know the Lake Titicaca and the Uros Islands, which are floating islands on the Lake Titicaca. The Lake Titicaca is at an altitude of 3,800 meters and therefore it is the highest lake on Earth. The Lake Titicaca is shared by Bolivia and Peru. It is basically divided almost in the middle of the lake. I am going to show you the lake in a little bit from a little bit closer. I am now at the main square here in Puno, where you can see this cathedral here behind me. It is unfortunately closed right now, but in general you would be able to enter as well. This cathedral has actually been built by the Spanish when they colonized this area here of Peru. They made the indigenous people here of the area go to the church to ensure that they became Catholic. I personally think that this area here of Peru is something very special because until today you can actually witness traditions that are thousands of years old. There are still a lot of indigenous people here in this area that come from the Quechua or Aymara people, which are the indigenous people that have been here in this area for hundreds of years. And I personally think that it is very interesting that you can still witness those traditions that are extremely old. And I am now going to take you to a place that is also hundreds of years old, where you can see how indigenous people actually used to live and still live until today. And this place is called Uros Islands. These islands are floating islands on the Lake Titicaca and they are being constantly constructed by the indigenous people that live there until today. By the way, before I am leaving the city center to the harbor to get to the islands, I want you to have a look at this. This is actually a tuk-tuk here in Puno. I think it looks super funny and I've never seen a tuk-tuk like that. And also, I would have loved to show you a little bit more of the city center, but as you can see here behind me, maybe, there are a lot of things closed currently. There is a huge carnival celebration going on. I feel like people here are absolutely crazy about carnival. A lot of things are closed and later on there will be huge festivities here in the city center going on, so it will be impossible to walk a lot through the center today, unfortunately. It's actually 8:30 in the morning and there's already a lot of people on the streets and people building up the seats that you can see here behind me for the parade that is later going on. It's a little bit crazy. Yesterday it was impossible to walk here actually. And they told me that today it'll be even worse. So I think to walk through this area here is going to be absolutely impossible in just a few hours. Well, I guess it's time to escape the city a little bit and go to the harbor to escape to the islands. I am now on the boat and we are about to start the tour. It is going to take more or less 2.5 hours, maximum 3 hours. And the first ride will be to the islands and it'll take around 30 minutes to get to the islands, and then we will have a local guide who will explain us everything about the island and the life on the island. I just arrived on the first island. Actually, there are in total 120 islands, more or less. But we are only going to visit 2 of them, and there are about 2,500 people living here on the islands. Here behind me you can now see the houses, the buildings of the people that live here. These are the traditional buildings, and it is actually super strange to walk on this island because it's like super soft. It is a floating island, and below us there is about 20 to 30 meters of water, and the island itself has a thickness of like 2 meters. And they built the island of this here. This is actually material that comes from the Lake Titicaca, and they constantly have to rebuild it a little bit because obviously this material is soaking in the water, so they constantly have to put like layers on top of it. And well, walking on it is like kind of weird because the ground is obviously super soft. You kind of sink in, but you do not feel the water or anything. Although if you dig a little bit into the ground, you will notice the water. Now the people here, they actually live from fishing or from tourism. There are only a few islands that are open for tourists. Not all of them are open to that. And well, they live from the tourists that pay the tours. And also there are some souvenirs here that you can actually buy. And then, as mentioned before, they also live from fishing. And I've heard there's like one main island that is the biggest one. They even have Wi-Fi there and so on. It's a little bit more high-tech. And there's a school. So the kids here, they go to school in a boat actually and go to the main island where, well, they have the school there. But even here on the small islands, they actually have solar panels. So there is actually a bit of electricity here on the island. I am now at the main island. You can see the Titicaca sign here behind me. And at this island, they have a lot of food, lots of restaurants actually. So you can eat something here, have a drink. They even have a way to get cash here actually, but unfortunately right now none. I need cash. That kind of sucks, but they already ran out of money today because it is already quite late. But usually you can also get cash here, which is kind of cool. And with that, it is time to say goodbye to the Lake Titicaca. I hope you enjoyed this video. I found it very interesting actually to be here, and also very nice to see like the original way of living here in this area of Peru. I think there are very few areas on earth where you can actually live traditions that are hundreds of years old. So this was a great experience for me and a highly recommended place. I hope you enjoyed the video as well. If you did, make sure to drop me a thumbs up because you are going to support my work by doing that a lot. And also, this is only the first video here in Peru, so make sure to subscribe to my channel because I am going to show you a lot of places around the country and I am going to take you with me on my adventures. See you in the next one.